Yeah, welcome to the Five Reasons Sports Postgame Show, aka the Post Up. I'm your host, Royal A. Shepherd, and I'm joined today by my man Gadiel Cartagena, Ariel Latias, Brian Young, and Jonathan Rumlicon. Fellas, we got one of the best G League games that we're ever going to see in our lives today from the Miami Heat. So Miami is able to pull out the 113-91 victory over the Houston Rockets. I mean, there was a lot of good things that we saw in this game, just being honest. A lot of players stepped up. A lot of players seem like they're finding some sort of rhythm. So I'll let you guys start. Ramacon, we're going to start with you tonight, bro. What did you see from tonight's game?
Yeah, I mean, I saw the team come out in the first quarter and have another good first quarter. It seemed like the ball was moving pretty well. Everybody was getting their hands on the ball, and even off ball, people were moving. We came out to, I think, a 12-point lead, and the only thing holding us back from making that bigger was John Wall having 13 in that first quarter. Second quarter came around, kind of having a repeat of the last couple of games where second quarter that lead gets flipped, and we ended up going down in that second quarter. I think we were down one going into halftime, but third quarter is just where we all turned it around. Everything seemed to fire on all cylinders. Duncan was hitting. Nunn was absolutely on fire tonight. Not only shooting the ball, but he was passing the ball really, really well. He was making really, really good reads. We saw a good game out of Dedmon, Ariza, Iguodala, and then we closed out the game. Fourth quarter was pretty much just basically just there to waste the time because we already had the lead. So overall, a pretty good game. I like what I saw from everybody. Tyler Hero had really good, impactful minutes, and that's all I could ask for.
Tyler Hero has been more impactful in this game than he has been in any other game the rest of this season. But I think that's a beautiful point to bring up where we're talking about players who we're missing. So we're missing Bam, we're missing Jimmy, we're missing Tyler. And so we needed somebody to step up, and tonight that guy was Kendrick Nunn. Kendrick Nunn had an absolutely phenomenal game. Like Jonathan alluded to, he had 30 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds. And that's big time. Brian, what did you see from the game tonight, brother?
I saw 2 G League teams, but you know what? There's not much that you can take from the game outside of the fact that, there was a lot of ball movement. I think we had 5 guys in double digits, which is good. It was a solid team effort versus a pretty poor team, but I think it's pretty good to get some guys in a rhythm going forward. Hopefully, I thought Precious had a decent game. As a big man whose job is essentially roll to the rim and catch lobs, don't do too much else, fight for rebounds. I'm hoping that he takes this going forward and is like, hey, in my 15 minutes, I can make an impact. And he showed that, or at least early on in this game today. So I was pretty encouraged by that.
Fabulous. I think it was Jay Royals who said this. He said, I'm sorry. Jay Royals said that we should sign Duncan and Nunn this summer. One of those things is not going to happen. So enjoy it while it lasts. But one of those things is not happening. Gad, I think you were in the spot Brian was in before Alejandro. Oh, we got Alejandro in the ones and twos tonight. So thank you, Alejandro, for stepping in before I got Manny. Gad, tell me your thoughts on the game tonight, brother.
Happy, right? Like, we needed to get a win tonight. And for some reason, we sat everybody. And it worked out because Kendrick Nunn stepped up. Duncan Robinson stepped up. Andre Iguodala stepped up. Precious Achiuwa stepped up. Dwayne Dedmon stepped up. Goran, 2 straight good games out of Goran. This was a satisfying win. Like, it's against the Rockets, and they were missing a lot of players too, yes. But, I mean, they had Christian Wood and John Wall, who pretty much should have been the best players on the floor, and they were not.
Kelly Olynyk, yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Kelly Olynyk.
But I was happy with this game, right? Like, Dedmon's making an impact, and Nunn, you can't take him out of the rotation now. That's my takeaway.
I made a point on Twitter where it's like when Hero comes back, Hero should have to earn his minutes back from Nunn, as opposed to just being gifted those minutes. Because we know once Hero and Vic and we're fully healthy, we pretty much were all in agreement that Nunn will be the one getting squeezed. And tonight, without Nunn, we don't win this game, or at least I don't believe so. You know what I mean? Minus all those players.
Hero and Nunn, and Hero's in this game, and Nunn is not playing. We lose this game probably.
Fair point, Ariel. Go ahead, man. Tell us what you thought about the game tonight.
I don't want to take too much away from any of the X's and O's or I don't know how this guy played, how that guy played, other than Kendrick Nunn, like everybody's already touched on. He had a phenomenal game. I thought he did a great job picking his spots and, hitting guys at the right time off the pick and roll. And just, generally, like, he's really improved as a decision maker. We talked, you and I went back and forth on this on Twitter a little bit. He's really improved this season. in terms of his decision making, his ability to pick his spots, when to attack, when to slow down, when to look for other guys and whatnot. So that was encouraging. Other than that, though, solid win. Look, I mean, the Rockets were more, they were closer to full strength than the Heat were. The Heat were missing substantially more than they were. But the Heat actually need this game. Like, it's not a game that you can go into and then lose the game and say, oh, well, Bam and Jimmy and Tyler were out. Like, you need to get wins. There's less than 15 games left in the season at this point. There are no more excuses. So it was good to see them get a win. I thought in the first half they played a little bit careless, a little bit. Like, they had like 8 turnovers. Struggled in transition defensively a little bit. John Wall was just way too quick for any of the Heat guards, but cleaned it up in the second half. They played better defense in the third and fourth quarter. At one point, the Rockets were like 4 of 24 for like a 12-minute stretch, and that's really when the Heat pulled away. Part of that is due to the Rockets just being terrible, but part of that is also the Heat played pretty good defense. They threw some zone in there, and the Rockets didn't know what to do. So all in all, it was a good win for them. And moving forward, I think, back-to-back wins, not too bad. You'll take it.
All right, so we want to thank our guy GSH Everything _27 for the $2 dono. He said, feels good to have a physical 7-footer on this team. Absolutely. Detman was phenomenal tonight, and we'll get to him a little bit later on. Want to thank our other guy, Poetic Lifestyle, for the $4.99 dono. He said, should none get playoff minutes? We know Spo play only 9 players. Overall, good game. Like I said before, I think that Nunn and Tyler Hero should be the two duking it out for minutes. And those minutes shouldn't be gifted to Tyler when he comes back. Nunn has been solid since he's been reinserted into the rotation. And Tyler Hero has been less than solid for the past couple of games now. And so we want to make sure that we're giving ourselves the best chance to win. And right now, it doesn't look like Tyler gives us that opportunity. So I want to talk about some of the Heat's elder statesmen, because we had a bunch of old guys go out there and ball today. Jonathan Rumlicon, I'll let you pick whichever one that you want to talk about. Iggy, Goran, Trevor, Edmund, who looks much older than 31.
I think I'm going to go with Dedmon. I think I'm going to go with Dedmon because I feel like he had a much bigger impact than his scoreline even showed. 12.6 rebounds, 6 of 8 shooting. He even took a 3. So, I mean, the attempts are there. He's still willing to take that 3, and maybe we don't want him taking it on volume. But if he's willing out to do there and step out and actually do that, it shows us that he can at least stretch the floor and he can do other things. He's great off the pick and roll. Duncan found him a couple times. Trevor Ariza had that beautiful pass where he did like a wraparound pass and he hit Dedmon, but he's doing everything great offensively. On the defensive end, he's helping cover up a lot of the holes. He's helping being that big body in the middle of the paint that's helping make shots uncomfortable. He's locking down the opposing center. He's doing all the things you want him to do, and I feel like this is a really, really perfect fit. I love having him here. He feels like a really big player. It feels like we were missing a tall-ass guy. We finally have a tall-ass guy in the middle of the paint now, and I'm happy to see it.
One thing I got Christian Carter's to the $4.99 dono. He said Detman looks like prime Shaq. Nunn played phenomenally, but that's a wild claim though, John. Tyler and Gabe led us to overtime against the 1 seed Sixers. Yeah, that's fair. But no, to your point, Ramlakan, I think I heard it on Inside the Paint with Ethan Skolnick and Ira Winderman, where they were talking about how Detman just knows how to play. He's a pro. So when he gets in the game, it's nothing spectacular that he's doing. It's the little things like setting solid screens, knowing where to be in your defensive rotation, being a presence at the rim when you're in there. Like those are all the things that he's done. And I guess because we haven't seen it all season long, it makes it a whole lot harder. It makes it a whole lot better to actually get a chance to see it from somebody on the team. Brian, you're an ageist, so I'm going to skip you on this question. I'm going to Gad. Gad, tell us about one of the old guys not named Dwayne Dedmon.
Trevor Ariza, right? Honestly, I don't even know what his stats looked like tonight. I did not pay much attention to his stats, but that pass to Dwayne Dedmon, can we talk about that for a second? Like, yeah. They have that kind of chemistry, I guess, this early on. Like, to your point, Roy, that you just said, like, Dedmon being a vet and just understanding kind of where to be on a basketball floor at what time. Trevor Ariza is the same kind of guy. He's a vet. He knows where to be. He kind of knows what to do. And, I mean, they look good playing together. They really do. Like, defensively, Trevor Ariza he's going to be a menace in the playoffs. Like, I'm very excited about what he's bringing to this team. And he's there's moments where he tries to do Trevor Ariza takeover to the game, and maybe it goes poorly. But there's other moments where he plays his role really, really well, and it really, really helps his team. Like, Dedmon and Trevor, the two guys that we've talked about so far, they've been huge additions to this team. I don't want to understate it. Like, the last 2 games have largely been won because of them amongst other players, but they've been a huge part of them kind of getting the season a little bit back on track.
Yeah, so I want to thank the guy Kevin Farrar for the $5 dono. He said none should get minutes over Hero. Not only can he get you points, but he's definitely more of a playmaker. I mean, sure, that's what we've been talking about. But I think the Heat made a huge investment in Tyler Hero, and so they're going to want to see where that goes. And in order to see him grow, you have to give him minutes. Also, want to thank I got Jimmy Buckets for the $1.99 dono. Bro, if you're gonna dono, bro, say something so that we can read your comment. Ariel. I want to throw our point guard of the night, Andre Iguodala, at you. And don't worry, Brian, I'm going to let you get going. So go ahead.
Yeah, thought Iggy was really good. I especially I knew I was going to love his game tonight when in the first quarter he was primarily matched up with my ex-favorite player, Kelly Olynyk. And my guy gave him the business defensively. Kelly couldn't get anywhere. He couldn't put the ball on the deck because Iggy was straight up just putting his hand in the cookie jar and coming out with a big old cookie every single time. So I love the way that Iggy played, bailed the Heat out on a few possessions where, he's making threes that are not even in rhythm. Like he had a couple of threes tonight where he's just staring down his defender and he rises up and puts it up and it goes in. And these are not threes that we're used to seeing Andre Iguodala hit, but he hit them tonight. And like, in big moments when the team needs him, it kind of feels like he usually will step up. Like you can count on, him in spots where you need him. The Heat are missing a lot tonight offensively and defensively, but especially offensively. They're missing their two, primary creators. And if you want to throw Vic in there, that's the third guy right there. So with those guys out, Iggy was running a lot of point tonight. He provided them some bailout baskets, and I thought he played phenomenal defense. He had 16, 6, 7 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. He made 4 threes. Like he almost replaced almost average Jimmy game for the Heat tonight. So that was big for them. And man, love Iggy. One of my favorite guys on the team.
Yeah, so thanking our guy, and I'm gonna let you address this, Brian, before you get into Goran. Want to thank GHS Everything _27 for another $2 dono. He said, "What happened to preseason version of KZ?" Yo, somebody also called him KZ MV Paula, and I love that. So, but yeah, so quickly hint on what you saw from KZ tonight, and then go into Goran and what you saw from him, Brian.
What I saw from KZ was a guy coming off of COVID. Let's chill on, I know he's bricking threes, but he didn't come into the NBA as a shooter, right? This is a guy who's played less career minutes than Precious Achiuwa. So effectively think of him as a rookie who hasn't found his niche offensively yet, which is fine. He's going to develop. He's going to get better at shooting. This is primarily a guy who found success in college attacking the rim and converting there. We saw he had a good play inside. You just want the little things from KZ, man. Box out, be at the top of the zone, and yeah, that's all. That's all I want from KZ.
Same move 3 times.
One good play.
One good play. I'll take it. I'll take it. Listen, it's about progression. Hopefully, he gets better in the future. This is not the year to be talking about, what is KZ. We don't know yet. Just chill on my guy. He's gonna have
that boy look like the dream on that play though, bro.
I liked it. That's what I'm saying. Flashes. I mean, it's all about flashes.
He took 3 steps prior to stopping, but you know what I mean.
They ain't call it. So
all's well that ends well. But go ahead and address Goran's game tonight, bro.
Yeah, man. Goran gave us exactly what we needed, right? Second good game in a row. 19, 6, and 5. And I think I said that for me, it's not so much about Goran scoring, even though obviously that is a very crucial part of his game for a team that struggles to score. But the 6 assists, man, if Goran can be a consistent 13, 5, and 6 guy off the bench, that's great. That's all we need. We don't need Goran to look like all-star Goran, but he stepped up. He provided scoring boosts when it was needed, and he did it in under 30 minutes. And you can't say enough about him. He's had a rough season so far, but this is one of his better games. I'm really, really happy that he helped us get this win.
Good stuff. So want to thank I got Richard Campbell for the $9.99 dono. He said, awesome win. This team never blows anyone out, even with Jimmy and Bam. None can't get DNP'd anymore. And Dedmon on this team is like the 2013 team finding Birdman. Let's talk about some of the new acquisitions, because I think Gad alluded to it a little bit earlier. And it was another conversation that I heard with Ethan and Ira. Miami essentially during the trade deadline kind of filled all the holes that we have been talking about. We have been talking about slotting in a 4 who could fit and play next to Bam. And so we found Trevor Ariza and put him in that role. We have been looking for a guard who could play defense, add a little bit of scoring and playmaking. We got Victor Oladipo, even with the injury, but when he was there, you saw him start to kind of grow in that space. And we found a backup big in Detman. Ramakan, of those 3, which do you think was the most important role that we filled, and who has played the best in that role, in their respective role?
I'm gonna go with Trevor Ariza because you need that guy, especially come playoff time, that can fit next to Bam and have that switchy style defense like we want to play. And he's fitting in perfectly. He's doing all the things right defensively. We see a lot of the times he's able to switch maybe like 1 through 4, probably like 1 through 5. Maybe we don't want him really guarding centers, but he can switch 1 through 5. A lot of times we put him at the point of attack. I remember especially in that Portland game, I saw him starting off on Dame. So he's doing a lot of things really good defensively. He's starting to find his groove in his shot. I remember when he first came and he first started playing, he wasn't hitting his shot as consistently. He was looking a little rushed, a little forced. He seemed to found his groove now, and he's hitting his shots more consistently, even if they're not direct catch and shoots. He had that one in the corner, like what I think Gad was talking about, or Ariel was, where he just stared down his opponent and just hit the shot as a pull-up. But he's hitting that catch and shoot 3. He's defending really well. He's also rebounding. I think he was second on the team in rebounds. Okay, he had 5 rebounds, so not really that high, but still good rebounding overall, doing a lot of things. So he's filled a lot of holes, man. It's perfect come playoff time. I think he's the guy that's given us the biggest contribution from all the guys we acquired so far.
So I do want to acknowledge Ardarsh Kamath. I don't know how to say that. And I don't want to be racist and have Jonathan Rumlicon say it, but Jonathan Rumlicon, how the hell do I say that, bro?
I gotta see it.
He's the one who keeps asking. Wait, yeah, sure. We'll go with that. You're the aficionado here. He says, wait a minute, who isn't getting re-signed? He's asked the question about 17 times. My theory is that it's only going to take one big offer for Kendrick Nunn to leave. Like, it doesn't have to be several teams begging for his services. It's one team just has to believe in him enough to give him the money that Miami won't be willing to, and he's going to be out of here. So that's who I believe is going to be out at the end of the season. So going back to the signings and who has the biggest impact, Brian, we're going to go back into our regular rotation. Who do you believe has made the biggest impact with the signings that Miami's had?
I still think it's Ariza. I mean, I think that he is the Jay Crowder replacement, and we saw last year that's what unlocked this team. As much as the other guys, fill needs for this team. Hypothetically, we could say Vic, but he hasn't really played, and we don't really know what he's going to look like coming back. Got to go with the guy who fits what this team needs most defensively, and I think offensively as a floor spacer. So that would be my pick.
So the dude, okay, he said, Arlo don't want Tyler to fix his jumper anymore. Thank you for the $2 dono, bro. So we got 2 guys going with Ariza. Ariza's out of the question now. So you guys get to pick between Vic and Dedmon. And Belly. Yeah, you can pick between Belly. Even though I
didn't play tonight.
Belly was the only person. Well, if you count Udonis Haslam as a roster spot, but Belly was the only person who didn't get off the bench tonight.
Belly's been the biggest addition to Miami's restaurant economy, but other
Miami Grill.
Tally, shout out to Miami Grill, one of the sponsors of the 5 Reasons Sports Network and the Post Game Show. If Belly's craving it, they're making it. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Gad, biggest addition so far between the other guys not named Trevor Ariza.
Listen, Victor Oladipo gave us about 1 or 2 good games. Dwayne Dedmon has already given us 2 games, and we expect to have him for the next 15. And listen, Dwayne Dedmon this is probably the biggest hole that we had on our team left, right? Like, Victor Oladipo doesn't 1-for-1 fill any specific hole. He's just another player that helps a lot as a point of attack defender. But Dwayne Dedmon is literally the non-Bam minutes will be his, and that helps this team. And like you said yesterday, he's just big as hell. He knows how to be big, and that's enough for me. So Dedmon as a backup 5 makes me feel so much better about our bench that I'll go with Dedmon for now.
Somebody said, "Peep their precious dono." Does that Rock Bogan? Thank you for the $2 donation. He said we need Dedmon and Precious on the floor together. No, the hell we don't.
No, the hell we don't.
Why?
No, bro, we don't want that at all. But But yeah, so Dedmon, I like Dedmon, bro, like a lot. And another, I don't know why this they said so many poignant things on that pod between Ira and Ethan. That's why I keep harkening back to it. But Dedmon fits the mold of a player that the Heat are going to bring back next season as a vet minimum guy, because I mean he is excelling in the role that he's been given. So I'm assuming that you're going to go with Dedmon as well, Ariel.
Well, now that everybody's taken all the guys I wanted to go with, I kind of want to go in another direction.
Okay.
No, I'll touch on Dedmon. Look, he's been doing things for the Heat. You know, we've talked about, you know, what the holes that he fills are for the Heat, right? He gives them a rebounder off the bench. He's a big man who can be big, you know, and do big man stuff off the bench. It's not something that they have, but other than that, man, when Bam sits and it's been Precious or Belly. If it's Precious, the pick and roll game is, you know, when the ball gets back to Precious, that shot's going up every single time. Doesn't matter if all 5 defenders collapse in the paint. That shot is going up and it's not even touching the rim. If it's Belly, there's no roll, right? It's a pop for a 3, and for whatever reason, he's always like 5 feet behind the 3-point line, so it's a low percentage shot. But with Dedmon, when he rolls, he has the IQ and just the know-how to, when he gets the ball, he takes like a millisecond and he knows, okay, do I go up with this? No, there's like 2 defenders. They're collapsing in the paint. I can find a shooter. He did that a couple times tonight, and he, you know, it resulted in open threes. Now the Heat are missing those threes because it's KZ and, you know, whoever who's taking who's at the receiving end of that. But you can see like what he brings. It's a different element. I'm going to go with Vic, though. He hasn't been the biggest addition to date for the Heat, but I think going forward, we're sleeping on the impact that he can have when he comes back. Now, Barry Jackson reported that the Heat are expecting him to come back. Nothing's guaranteed, nothing's set in stone. Of course, things can change, but if he does come back, he, you know, brings to the team, you know, Gad said that he doesn't fit any specific hole necessarily. I think that at the point of attack, though, that's something that he don't really have.
Pointed that out. I corrected myself a little bit because I realized.
Okay, I tuned it out because it made me mad. But the Heat don't really have a guard. The Heat don't really have a guard who can like consistently stay in front of guards. They're having to put Trevor Ariza on the point guard frequently, right? And that's something you can get away with from time to time, but not always. So Vic gives them that. He can get to the rim. Hopefully, he finds his shot. I think he changes the profile substantially for this team when he comes back.
Excuse me. So I want to thank I got Christian Carter's because he actually had a $2 dono that I missed. My bad, Christian. Retype your comment down in the comments below, and then I'll make sure to get to it. But I missed the $2 dono entirely. But I want to thank you for the $4.99 dono. He said Belly finally doesn't have to eat Papa John's to keep them in business. Now the Heat won, and they're 50% off. Belly been eating for their survival. Christian, bro, you're an asshat, and I just want to make sure that I point that out on here. But no. So here's a question that I kind of want to get to, and anybody can take it. Now that we've seen what Dedmon's able to provide this team, are we kind of happy that we didn't pursue the Boogies or the LaMarcus Aldridges of the world when we had the opportunity to? Like, has Dedmon filled this role better than either of them could have?
Yes.
Blessing in disguise.
I mean, none of those guys give you look, Aldridge is a big dude, but he's not a guy who is consistently like. There was a play tonight where I don't know who it was on the Rockets, but I might have been Kevin Porter Jr. drove baseline, and Dwayne Dedmon got to the spot in time, stood straight up, and did not budge. He, you know, altered the shot significantly without fouling. That is something that nobody on the Heat do outside of Bam. Now, is that something that you're going to count on from LaMarcus Aldridge? He is slow as hell. I know y'all have seen those screenshots on Twitter of him being like 14 feet away from his man on a closeout, and he's still like he's jumping in the air like he's going to do something, you know? So that's not, you know, I much rather have Dedmon, especially with the hindsight of 2020, being able to know what we know now about LaMarcus Aldridge. Unfortunate for him. Hope everything's all right with his health. Boogie is washed. He can't do shit. He sucks. So I would much rather have Dedmon for sure.
So Christian Curtis, I guess your dono was Precious played like a prime Alphonse Sidney. Hey, bro.
Hey,
take that to the hangover time, bro. If you're gonna sit up here and talk about my boy like that, don't talk about my dog like that. I love Alphonse Sidney. That's my man. So I want to kind of get into Belly and what's happened since the arrival of Dedmon. Jonathan, I'm throwing this to you. Has Belly been essentially played out of the lineup moving forward? Like, is there a space or is there a role for him?
I mean, really, was he ever really in the lineup? Like, I mean, he was kind of there, but he was just testing waters. You know, he had a couple of couple of games where he played, he hit some shots, had some finesse layups. But I think, Dedmon's that guy that you're going to trust more. I don't think you could really play Belly in the playoffs. He's a little more slow-footed. He can't do quite as many things, especially defensively, which we know once the game slows down in the playoffs, that's what we're going to need to focus on. So I think Dedmon fills that role perfectly. It's a perfect role for him as a backup for Bam. He doesn't have to play and, space the floor next to him or whatever. And he plays really well with Goran, whether it's Hero or none. He plays good with either of those guys as well because he has that ability to set a screen solidly, unlike Precious, who will set the screen halfway, and when his man's about to dribble up, he'll dive before the screen even gets used. So he's a good veteran player, like you said, you guys were all saying, and I think he fits that role perfectly come playoff time.
Yeah, so Jimmy Buckets, I'm sorry I missed your dono, but he said he just wanted to shout out Blues Clues, Brian. Hey, man, my dog absolutely refused to wear the shirt now that y'all don't want to y'all been talking about it. He refused to go in there. Gad, you got HM donoing, so you go ahead and you read that for him, brother.
Sure, HM. All hail King Dedmon. Salute to K25 as well. Like, that pretty much sums up most of the game tonight. You could maybe throw a few more names in there. But those dudes balled out. Kendrick Nunn balled out. Dwayne Dedmon balled out. And we got the win in a game without Jimmy, Bam, and Depot.
So we got our first hashtag, let Brian speak of the evening. We would have been mad as fuck if we got Aldridge. Yeah, I believe so too.
Yeah.
So we got our first let Brian speak hashtag of the night. So Brian, talk about whatever you want to talk about, my guy.
You know what? I've shit on Nunn a lot in his Heat tenure, and I will continue to do it. But tonight, I want to say, like, I appreciate how Kendrick Nunn has evolved this game, right? I think he came into the league as, a guy who I felt like tried to do too much on offense. He was a ball stopper. You're trying to take guys off the dribble, and it didn't work out for him. He scored 30 points tonight, but it felt like his game was so simple, man. It's catch and shoots, shooting off of screens, attacking when he has a mismatch, when he's out in the open court, get the ball, layup or dunk, and that's it. It's really simple. It's a really efficient way to play. Even his passing, he's not trying to do too much. It's like, hey, catch the ball. If something's there, I'll take it. If not, move the ball. And you become a really effective player that way. And we've seen, as of late, he's become pretty damn good. So I'm happy for him as a player to have evolved his game to that point where he can be a very, very solid player. Hopefully he gets minutes over Tyler Hero. Probably won't happen. But, shout out to him, man.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty big of you, Brian, to go ahead and give that man some love, man. You see, growth. That's what I'm talking about. I saw a couple of comments that I wanted to get to. They were talking about D-Rob. We have not given Duncan Robinson his love for the night. So, I'll let you show D-Rob some love. No, wait, Ariel, you talk about D-Rob, and then I want Gad to talk about the comical plus 38 of Andre Iguodala.
Yeah, man. I mean, Duncan, I don't think he had a slower start to the season. I don't think we should be surprised by any of this. I mean, we were bashing him pretty hard on here, and I think a lot of that was warranted, right? Because they needed more from him for, a huge chunk of this season. But since the trade deadline has passed, it's been like a huge weight off his shoulders. And man, he's shooting. I don't even know what the percentage. Does anybody know what he's been shooting since the trade deadline? I stopped
59 of 123. So he's like a touch off of 50%.
So yeah, about 50%. That's ridiculous. He takes like 8 or 9 a game. That's absurd. He's back, man. And the Heat, it couldn't have come at a better time. I also love that, I've been bringing this up a little bit. He's been adding stuff off the dribble. Now, it's not something you're going to do one-on-one in an ISO situation, but when the ball swings to him, or when he comes off the dribble handoff and his man overplays him, or there's a switch and the switching defender is late to get to him, Duncan can take a couple dribbles into the paint, and he's a decent decision maker down there. He'll find a shooter. He is not a great mid-range shooter, but I mean, he's a really good 3-point shooter. So you would think that he could start to really add that to his game. And then he can also get to the cup if the defense is late getting over to him. He's a good finisher around the rim. So he's really added some elements to his game, which I think helps him bring a lot of added value that he wasn't bringing to the team before. You couple that with the positive progression back to the mean with the shooting from 3, got yourself a really good player.
Yeah, Gad, I saw the comment and I got the dono. Thank you, Christian Curtis, for the $1.99 dono. Belly of Papa John's Heat saboteur to prevent discount. Listen, I do, to your point, another thing that we've kind of taken for granted with Duncan Robinson over the time is his availability. Mm-hmm. Duncan is the only person who started this game who has been one of our regular starters the entire season. And we haven't had very, very many people that's given us this consistency. And I think for the most part, we've taken for granted how available and how durable Duncan has been during his tenure here. And so, that's something that we have to give this man props on, because good or bad, he's showing up, and you can always appreciate somebody who's going to come to work. Gad, I want you to talk about Andre Iguodala and how in the hell he's able to get plus 38, without looking like he's getting plus 38.
It's unreal what Iggy does, right? Because everything he does on a basketball floor, you don't expect him to make that play. He'll have the most bullshit above the break pull-up three to end a quarter, and it goes in, right? He'll have Kyrie completely blow by him, and he'll use one index finger, poke the ball out, and strip it off Kyrie's leg and get the ball back. His hands are legitimately insane, and there's some games where he does some really, really stupid things on offense, and this was not one of those games. He might have been taking some pull-up mid-range or whatever, but the game was kind of out of reach at that point. He had 16, 7, and 6? You guys alluded to it before, kind of like a Jimmy Butler light game. And
2 steals, 2 blocks.
He was all over the place. He really filled that role pretty nicely, and I was really surprised that he started, but he showed up. Plus 38 is not an easy thing to do, I think, in any NBA game, especially when you're not winning by 38 points. So that stat alone in its own right, being 37 years old, it was really impressive for Miggy. I'm happy that he played the way he did today, and hopefully he can end up continuing to be a great role player throughout the playoffs.
That was a great comment.
So I do want to read Jimmy Bucket's comments. I know we pointed to it. He said, "We bash Duncan like we bash Bam, not because they aren't good, but because we know how great they can be." And I think that's spot on. A lot of times we come on here and we crush Bam for not being aggressive or whatever, but it has nothing to do with it. It's not the same as Tyler.
We hate him. That's different. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, Tyler's the anti Andre Iguodala. He could go out there and look like he's doing something and not be doing anything. Thank you, Randy Constance, for the $5 dono blessing. I don't want to talk about Tyler because he didn't play tonight. So yeah, I think we're good. Anything else anybody want to point out from this game before we move on to what's next for the Heat?
Avery Bradley sucks.
Yeah, nobody he played more minutes tonight for Houston than he played for Miami all season long. It's mind-blowing.
It was good to see Kelly Olynyk sabotage another team for once.
After playing super well, damn near his whole rocket tenure.
No, we gave him that Jeremy Lin treatment, bro. We were like, the hell you preach. You're not going to come over here and make us look bad. So we put that boy in jail tonight. All right. So
one thing I do want to say real quick. Everybody on the team except for Max Strus and Gabe Vincent had 5 or more rebounds, and we ended up out rebounding them 50 or 59 to 45.
Goran
so
too?
I think that's pretty big.
Had, 6 rebounds.
Goran too. Everybody
Jimmy
not named Gabe
really...
Vincent or Max Strus had 5 or more rebounds.
Wow, Jimmy and Bam are really.
So that's big because
back.
this team. Yeah, we need to trade those 2 guys and obviously get some other players.
Mm-hmm. Oh well,
surround them with some talent.
Here's something that was kind of I don't know what you want to call it. I call it eye opening. Miami won this game by this many points and only had 7 free throw attempts tonight. They did not get to the line at all. They only hit 4 of the 7. Free throw shooting has been Oladipo is the new Whiteside. Okay, I feel like we're in a different space.
Ban him.
Yeah, that's out. Okay, so next game we got the San Antonio Spurs. What day do we play them? I forgot.
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Yeah, so we got the San Antonio Spurs, or we're going to the San Antonio Spurs on Wednesday. So I'll start with Ariel. Ariel, the boy feeling good?
Boy feeling good. Expect one of, if not both of, Bam, Jimmy to get back into that game, and I think the Heat get a win. I think we start building on it. We're coming down the stretch run here. Put up or shut up time. Time to get some wins. I think the Heat get the job done.
All right. Jonathan, the boy feeling good?
The boy feeling good. We just had a blowout win without our 2-star players, and now we're going into San Antonio. We're on the home stretch. We need to get these wins, and like I already said, we got to get it done.
Brian, the boy feeling good?
The boy feeling good. The Spurs aren't good. Some of these guys are starting to kind of figure out some things, and yeah, they're 10th in the West.
They're okay. They're not bad. They're not good.
I mean,
they're 2 games behind us.
A game below 500. I don't.
They're not 28. They're 28.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, we've
aren't
lost
good
the
either.
worst. We've lost the worst team.
Yeah. Listen, the boy. Okay, even if you say they're average, it's not good. Yeah,
okay.
point being,
Fair enough.
I think that this team, like you guys said, they need these wins. And going down the stretch of games, I trust Jimmy and I trust Bam to to take over games like this and get the W.
My man, the boy feeling good.
The boy feeling pretty good. Like, I think as long as we get Jimmy, Bam, maybe even Depot back for this game, that would be a fantastic addition for this team. If we get both Jimmy and Bam, I'm feeling confident about this game, though. The Spurs are not the worst team in the world, but they're not the best team either. And I think the overall physicality that this team is probably going to play with, like, I feel like we've had a sense of urgency the last two games, and that will carry on once Jimmy and Bam are back on the floor. So as long as those two are playing, I'm feeling confident that we're going to be able to win this game.
Yeah, so I think Miami now is doing the thing where they're scheduling rest for players. Like, I don't think the ankle is bothering Jimmy enough for him to miss games. If he needed to play, then he could. But Miami's going to do this. And I think if Jimmy and Bam weren't out this game, then they would have sat Goran this game. And I believe Goran's going to be the one to sit out next game. We get one of them back, and they're going to rotate it like that for the rest of the season, try to get some of the guys healthier. With that being said, we are going to blow that shit out. You hear me? Listen, I don't give a damn. We get one of them back. Bam going for 40, Jimmy going for 40. If they both come back, both of them going for 40. How about that? Like, I don't care about how good the Spurs have been playing right now. I don't care about the other teams. I care about how Miami is playing going into or trying to make their way into the playoffs. And they're a team that looks to me like they're trending upwards. We got a great effort from the team yesterday against Brooklyn. We got another great effort on the back-to-back. We won both games. So that, to me, is a sign of a team that's trying to get their shit together. And I believe that's what they're going to do. And they're going to move forward that way. So, time to pay the bills. I thought I muted myself right quick. Before we get with our customary bill paying, we got a new sponsor of the 5 Reasons Sports Network, ladies and gentlemen. And they actually sent some products over. The new sponsor is Therapist Preferred.
Hey.
Therapist Preferred. Therapist Preferred is a CBD company that was founded in 2019 by a physical therapist to optimize performance and recover for active people. They sell CBD products that are 100% THC free and they're third-party lab verified. All products are made in the U.S. with cutting-edge technology from organic grown hemp. Some of their popular products include their sports cream, their strawberry lemonade, and green apple flavored gummies, which are what I have. I got some of the green apple flavored gummies. And if you use the code 5 Reasons when you go to their website, you get free shipping on all orders and you get 20% off your order. So make sure you check out Therapist Preferred. And while we're doing some of the other promos, I'm going to be popping back one or two of these things. So Jonathan Rumblecon, you're the only person on here with one. So you get to talk about Vertagear tonight.
Okay, yeah. So first of all, obviously a lot of people nowadays, especially with the pandemic happening and everything, working from home, or if you're not working from home, you're watching the post-game show, you're watching the Heat game, you're playing some video games. You got to make sure you take care of your body long term. You don't want to have back replacements, lower back problems. How many old people do you know that have arthritis in their back, right? You don't want any of that. Get yourself a therapeutic Vertagear chair. If you don't know what size to get, you actually can put it in right in the website, your height and your weight. Use the link in the description below and you'll be able to get our promotion. And get your Vertagear chair, treat your back right, treat yourself right, and get yourself a nice chair.
My man. So, Gadiel Cartagena, you get to pay Miami Grill tonight.
Miami Grill, listen, we are all sports fans. We're fans of the Miami Heat. And honestly, at the core of our fandom, we kind of want to be like these players, right? So you want to be like Nemanja Bjelica. You want to eat the food that Nemanja Bjelica eats. You want to go ahead and eat Miami Grill. Miami Grill makes all sorts of different types of food, okay? They got burgers, which Bjelica eats. They got fries, which Bjelica eats. They got hot dogs, which Bjelica eats. They got gyros, which Bjelica probably eats. They got
by the
chicken
pound.
tenders, pizza, subs, all the good stuff, all dessert, every cookies, whatever you need that Nemanja Bjelica eats, they have it for you, right? And if he's craving it, then you're probably eating it because you want to be just like him. So go to Miami Grill, get the belly special, which is just everything on the fucking menu, and have a great time at Miami Grill.
Beautiful. One thing I got our bro with the 199 don't know. He said Katya has the Kardashian syndrome on Tyler Hero. Listen, our bro, we told you guys last game. Enough with the Katya jokes, bro. You guys are better than that. Y'all are more creative. Find a different way to say Tyler Hero sucks.
Listen,
I also want to thank
Katya
our
is
guy
not the reason that Tyler Hero is incompetent. Tyler Hero is the reason that Tyler Hero is incompetent. Let's
Absolutely.
make jokes about him.
Right, Tyler Tuesdays, Chipotle bowls, heroes,
Better
the
than
works,
Devin
bro.
Booker.
You got so much material, bro. I know you guys are more creative than that. What you about to say, Ariel?
I would just make fun of Nemanja Bjelica. It's like way more fun in my mind, and so much easier too.
Nope. Tyler makes it pretty easy on himself. Thank you, Christian Curtis, for the $199. Don't know. He said, please give therapists prefers free samples to Oladipo. Listen, bro, the boy can't have my gummies. That's all I'm saying right now. He cannot do it. Ariel, you get to pay the primary sponsor of the 5 Reasons Sports post-game show, PPP, whatever. Bro, you get to pay Biscayne Bay Brewing.
Yes, Biscayne Bay Brewing, the best beer on the market. If you're in South Florida, anywhere you go to a restaurant, you go to a bar, which I don't recommend, but if you're going to do it, ask for Biscayne Bay Brewing. They have a variety of delicious beers. They've got the Marlins Lager. They're also the primary sponsor of the Miami Marlins. They've got the Tropical Bay IPA, the Pastime Pilsner. I don't know which ones I've missed. There's a couple new ones, but they're all really
Lager.
Good. Didn't I say that? Okay, Marlins Lager, my bad.
The Bielitsa brew.
Oh, that's a special edition. That's coming out soon, my friend.
That's hydration during shoot around.
That's between quarters.
Tropical Bay IPA.
Anywhere you go, grocery stores, ask for it. If you don't see it, it's phenomenal. Give it a try.
Fabulous. So let's talk about some of the programs that we have coming up. Jonathan, you're on here tonight. Walkouts and knockouts, brother.
So Walkouts and Knockouts is a show that me and Ariel do as a pre-show to the UFC. This Saturday, we actually have Miami's very own Jorge Gamebred Masvidal taking on Kamaru Usman for the 170-pound belt. If you don't know who Masvidal is, you got to check him out. I mean, UD shouted him on Instagram before his fight. You know, he's a big guy in South Florida. He actually fought with Kimbo Slice back in the days. Mm-hmm. So, like, you know, he's a
got his ass beat up.
Yeah. So, he's fighting this Saturday, and we have Walkouts and Knockouts. It'll be at 4 o'clock. We're going to break down the fights for you. We're going to actually give you betting tips, betting picks. And then on Thursday as well, we have Fight Week on 5. That's going to be with me and Alf, and that's going to be before, or a little bit earlier in the day, probably around 5 o'clock, and that's going to be also breaking down UFC 261.
You know, when you say Alf on this network, you got to be more specific.
Alfredo Arteaga.
Yeah, people tend to turn their head.
Carry.
Christian Curtis, I just want you to know that I hate your guts, bro. Like, I have to put this out here. Tyler switched from Wheaties to Heroes. Now he's ass. Like, bro, Tally. Okay, so we did walkouts and knockouts. Ariel, you get to do the shoot around.
Shoot around is a 140-second or less clip that Gad and myself will post on game day mornings. It'll be on my or his Twitter timeline. We will update you on whatever's relevant to the Miami Heat. We'll probably preview that night's game, give you some keys, whatever it is, just a little something for you to consume quickly on game day mornings. So again, the shoot around, my Twitter timeline or Gad's Twitter timeline, game day mornings.
Fabulous. And since we have a new sponsor, I'm in the spirit of new. And there are some new things on the horizon for some of our illustrious Skyforce members. Gad, tell them about what's new with you guys.
Listen, a crew of Ariel Latias in the top right corner, myself, Marco Romo, actually one of the most brilliant people on Heat Twitter. If you don't follow him at Marco Romo, he is the boy. He does amazing stuff. He posts videos like that. He gets all the highlights that you want. And he's also a basketball genius. He's a savant when you talk to him. Like, he really knows his stuff. We're going to be talking about general NBA kind of content. So we're obviously going to have a hint of Heat content in there as well, but we're primarily just going to talk generally about the NBA. We're going to look at things from a broad perspective. We're going to talk numbers. We're going to talk about trends, which teams are trending up, trending down, power rankings, playoff stuff. Oh, can we put that photo up again? I wanted to lead into the name. But yes, the show is going to be called The Full Court Press. I think it is going to be debuting on Thursday at 9 p.m. after the Clutch Corner. So make sure you tune into that. Show some support there. It is Ariel, Marco Romo, and myself. We're going to have a great time, and we're going to talk some hoops, not just the Heat. We're going to talk pretty much the entire NBA, so make sure to tune in.
Beautiful. And since my guys are not here to say it for themselves, there will also be another new show coming out with Alana Tahara and Michael Christian, two members of the Clutch Corner, the Corner Four. They're going to be branching off and doing Feel the Heat, a new show. And I'll let them get more into it when we do the Clutch Corner on Thursday. So make sure you check in for that. And then they'll go ahead and explain to you what they're going to be talking about. But I'm really excited. New things on the horizon for the team. Brian, you're the only person who didn't pay no bills or none of that. Let's talk about your horror stories, brother. Where can people find your work?
Creepypasta.com. You can go to my Reddit, BrianY97, or in my bio, I got a link to the series I'm working on. I investigate disturbing cases. You can also just Google that name. It should be the first thing that pops up. If you like detectives, monsters, and mystery, you should check it out. It's pretty decent.
My man. Yes, Ariel T is the hardest working man in 5 regions sports. The boy is on everything. So
don't tell Brady Hawk.
No, listen.
Don't tell Brady Hawk. That's the hardest working man in the network.
Facts.
Yeah.
So thank you guys in the comments for joining us. As always, making the show much more fun than it would have been without you. Thank you to my guy Gad, Ariel, Brian, and Jonathan for joining me on this show. Make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, check out all the shows, all the content. We are going to blow you guys up with content about the Heat, the NBA, football, MMA, combat sports, everything that you want, you can find here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. So make sure you guys clock in with us as we try and bring you guys all. I look like Royce the 5'9". Shut up, bro. Like, God. Like, no, I don't, bro. I've heard I look like Derek Fisher, Royce the 5'9". I've heard that one before too. But I don't look like none of these people. I look like me. Again, thank you guys. And we'll see you on Wednesday.
Yes.
Play the video, Alejandro.